And this is a quote from you. You've said, quote, "What we've experienced during the COVID crisis is full-on, fifth-generation, modern political and information warfare, which consists of effectively using social and mainstream media to control the narrative. But this is asymmetric warfare. The practitioners have the resources, the power, the money, mainstream media, big pharma, tech giants, and social media supporting their efforts." You go on to say there's a small but growing guerrilla army of supporters of freedom, but if this informal freedom resistance campaign speaks too loudly or speaks truth to power too often, they are taken out by warnings and deplatforming. They're losing their right to free speech on a daily basis. We've even seen some politicians no longer allowed to use Twitter, YouTube, etc. Robert, tell me about this current state we find ourselves in early 2023. Describe this, and how does this affect everything in our environment, from vaccines to the transgender issue to just everything going on in the world?
To Nord Stream.
To Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything. Now the latest here in the States is, are they weather balloons or are they UFOs? And the White House is being completely non-transparent about that, which of course is creating a field day for all those that are conspiracy-minded. I think in a way, a strong case could be made, whether it's intentional or unintentional. There has been a destabilization of people's belief in normalcy. Everything has become fragmented. Everything is weaponized. All media, all information, all channels, all the time is weaponized for political purposes. The New York Times themselves said that the CDC has become a political arm of the White House. You know, the CDC is supposed to be and this is the New York Times last February. The CDC is supposed to be an independent arbiter of truth for medical practitioners and public health officials, but it's all weaponized. It's profound, and what the consequence is that fraction of the population that's paying attention is left in a state of not trusting or believing anything. The whole landscape, information landscape, has become this fluid, shifting terrain. But that is fifth generation warfare, and you can't identify, as is typical in this extreme spectrum of propaganda, as warfare, which we call fifth gen warfare, but it's really a spectrum, continuum with kinetic warfare, but just taken to extreme, where the battleground is your mind and your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions that are all manipulated in so many different ways. But this is military grade information weaponry that's been deployed. And how do we know that that's the case? Because we see a small trickling of press reports from literally almost all of the nations of the Five Eyes Alliance, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States, and Great Britain. And in particular, Great Britain and Canada have gradually trickled out information about the role of the military over the last 3 years in deploying these technologies. I think you have here in the UK the 77th Brigade, I think is what I've heard, and that includes a member of Parliament and many others that are skilled at PSYOPs, at military grade PSYOPs, that has been used. We also have the Nudge Unit, for which there was some press coverage of an apology here in the UK. There's multiple stories, both in Australia and in the Canadian press. There was some Freedom of Information Act reveals in the Canadian press over the direct role of their military in propagating this, and it leaves people that are paying attention in a state of constant unease and disconnectedness and apprehension, this chronic anxiety which, by the way, is exactly what Matthias Desmet, my friend, who wrote this book on totalitarianism from the University of Ghent in Belgium, that came up with this term mass formation, or some have referred to it as mass formation psychosis, this hypnosis that has happened in the population where they have basically coalesced around fear objects. And what we've now learned is many of those fear objects were actively promoted. We even have Mr. Gates now talking about that the threat of the virus was overstated, and hence the response to the virus was an overreaction. You know, this is gradually coming out. But you ask about the current state. What I see is, I think I see, it's in this battlefield environment, psychological information battlefield environment. It's really hard to really discern truth and reality because it's so fluid and there's so many actors actively trying to manipulate it. But my sense is that there is a reinvigoration of a lot of these efforts currently in progress. And one interpretation of that, one hypothesis, I think is a way to phrase the term. It sounds very sciencey, and I'm not meaning it that way. I'm trying to say, I don't know this to be true. It appears that this might be one of the things that's going on. So a hypothesis is that the entities, whoever they are, these shadowy figures who have been leading these efforts to promote a false narrative about the nature of the virus, the nature of the disease, the safety and efficacy of the vaccines, the safety and efficacy of the new drug products like remdesivir, they seem to be doubling down as there is this kind of gradual trickling out reveal that's happening right now with both clinical data and FOIA information, the Twitter files, the information that's being revealed by the attorneys general, this Fauci paper that recently came out, which he says he is not saying that the vaccines don't work, even though he appears to be saying that the vaccines don't work. So there was some damage control put out after the paper was published. It seems like the information, as they say, information wants to be free. It's coming out. And now they have to redouble their efforts to try to keep a lid on this, presumably because if people become aware of what has been done to them, they will be rightfully upset. In theory, one would think an electorate would retaliate against the political bosses that have given rise to this. I don't know that that's true anymore. It could well be that they can manipulate information, virtually manipulate reality to such an extent that people stay kind of asleep. So that's what I'm seeing is a really ramping up recently over the last couple of months. And the most egregious example of that is the Project Veritas Pfizer response. Which was just amazing to watch. The full power of a multi-trillion-dollar company to memory hole, wipe the internet, completely control corporate media, and bury a story that is a huge story, but can't be told. Just the same as I mentioned a moment ago, the Nord Stream bombing is another story that is not allowed to be told, despite what Cy Hirsch has tried to publish.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.